Okay, so I just got done doing the Persona 5 version of this video, but today we're going to be doing the 8 things that make no sense in Star Wars KOTOR. Now, obviously, the entire video idea of me doing this, I did not get this from myself. I got this from Papito Quinn, I think his name is. Obviously, I haven't watched the video and I have not read the article, so I thought this would be interesting. I kind of was hoping that it was going to be KOTOR 2 as well, but you know what I'm saying? I guess you guys are just going to have to get that content from me when my video essays out. You know what? I might actually look for bullet holes in KOTOR 2 as well. That might be a good video idea. But before we get into it, I just want to make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. And yeah, let's get straight to number 1, I guess. Cool. Malak's motivations are conflicting. Darth Malak serves as the title's main antagonist, and the goal of defeating him is rather personal. That regardless of whether you join the light side or dark side of the force, because Malak is also your main character's former apprentice who's responsible for the backstabbing induced amnesia. So while it was Malak who did betray and strike down Revan, Jedi Master Vandar states that Malak's motivations are hate and vengeance for his master's death. That master is none other than you, former Darth Revan. That doesn't add up since it was Malak himself who tried to kill Revan. Unless of course the Jedi deliberately lied to you in order to manipulate you, that wouldn't be a first in the franchise. Yeah, the Jedi lied to you. I'm not gonna lie. The Jedi lied. They lied. They lied. I'm gonna be real. Let me just make sure I've read that correctly. He states that Malak's motivations are hate, vengeance on his master's death. Yeah, he lied. They lied. I'll be so real. The Jedi do not know what Malak's intentions are. How would they know? They want Darth Malak wants power. Obviously, he was going to eventually betray Revan because that's the way of the Sith, you know. One master, one apprentice. Obviously, in the Old Republic, it was a little bit different. There was multiple Sith acolytes, multiple Sith around, to be honest. But these two guys were the main Sith, and all Sith fight for power. You know, so Malak, regardless, was always going to betray Revan. I'm trying to think if he had any part in that. I think, yeah, because he had the part in, he shot Revan's ship. He was the one who shot Revan when he was in the ship, which caused the amnesia. So, but are his motivations conflicting? Is this something that doesn't really make sense? Like, because he never said himself that his motivations are hate and vengeance for Revan. I don't really know. Like, I don't really know. In my opinion, I just would not take the Jedi's word as fact. So you aren't the person who wrote this article answered their own question. Did that Jedi lie to you? Malak does not care for Revan in the same way. Obviously, he cares for him as in terms of a Sith master, but in terms of obviously his life, because he wants to be the Sith Lord, you know what I'm saying? He wants to be the Dark Lord of the Sith. He was going to betray Revan regardless, so, you know. And he did betray Revan, that's the reason why he has amnesia, but yeah. Bastila walking in Taris in broad daylight. Traversing hub areas to interact, medal shop and pick up objectives requested pretty standard RPG fans. In Taris, the first planet, however, the seemingly simple setup is a bit questionable. No planet is literally searching for the one Jedi who crash landed in Sith domain. There are even plenty of Sith guards and other enemies that you come across that think you're a civilian. However, Bastila still looks nowhere near a civilian. With her robes, now for the sake of suspension, believe that she's supposedly donned a disguise like a Jedi hood. Even then, she waves around her yellow lightsaber in front of Sith guards and populace. There's no way the whole party was able to be discreet with Bastila around. Now, if I can remember, when you get Bastila back, that's essentially near the end of Taris, because then you look for a ship to get out. You then go to what's his name? Dagon? No, it wasn't Dagon again. That's KOTOR 2. Who is his name? But essentially, you go to that rich guy, the smuggler. You go to the smuggler's hideout. Obviously, Candace is there. You do what you got to do there, and you're still Devon Hawk. As far as I remember, that's the order of events. So, canonically, I think as soon as you rescue Bastila, you canonically immediately look for the exits. As far as I remember. Maybe I'm wrong about that one, because it's been a while since I played KOTOR 1. But I mean, I guess you can call it something that doesn't make sense, but if we're looking at the canon, they probably just look for an exit straight away. Unless they went back to thing. Did they go back to the safe house? I don't really remember. Maybe it's a plot hole, because I don't really remember. That happens at the start of the game, and it was a long time ago. But as far as I remember, they rescue Bastila. They, I think, go back to the penthouse to figure out a plan. Then they leave. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe I'm wrong because it's been a long time. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But yeah. Persuasion check abuse makes conversations inconsequential. Persuasion checks, among other dialogue mechanics, are common thing in RPGs and Oculto. Except say a subsort auto classic issue can abuse the persuasion check system to get the outcome you want. All you have to do is loop the conversation back to the option before you get the brand choice. It's true you can avoid doing this, but there are times where you can accidentally pull it off, leading to comedically and then the conversation with NPCs. This still prevailed until Oculto 2, where there's even an exploit where you can keep telling some troubled people to fend for themselves in order to combat the flaws. KOTOR is based on D&D. So, I mean, the only way... Like, I mean, it makes no sense, but it's part of the game mechanics. Like, you can just keep re-rolling. There's no... I guess what he's trying to say is that there should have been consequences for failing a speech check in certain situations, but that I feel like would be a little bit harsh because it's not, you don't have a confirmed because it's a roll. It's a roll. Obviously, you have a confirmed point as to where you will pass a speed check, as far as I'm aware. But whether or not you'll pass a speed check, let's say you haven't hit that confirmed point, whether or not you'll pass that speed check is pretty random. So if you did have the whole thing of, well, you get a consequence if you don't pass a speed check in every sort of instance, because a lot of these instances where you can re-roll is due to story, you know? But if you did have it so that you only had one chance to pass a speech check for like a character such as Bastila, for example, Karth, or even Candace, you'd miss out on story moments which you could have got with them if you then put everything into Persuade, but then that would require you to focus all your points into Persuade, and you know, I mean, most people do that anyways because, you know, as the main character, you're the only one who has Persuasion skill, like, able to at least be leveled up, so, I mean, maybe, but it's just a game mechanic. I just say it's just a game mechanic. I don't really see it as that bad because you could legitimately make a character that has 0 Persuade if you really wanted to. But yeah, swords in a sci-fi franchise where most high-tech weapons are laser swords that can cut through anything, or guns that shoot infinite laser ammunition. Swords seems more than a little impractical. The inclusion seems like straightforward way of game telling you that you can't be a Jedi so early on. There's essentially basic standards for lightsaber till you're able to move on from the game's 100%. Quite a few of them are viral based, of course, which are established part of Star Wars canon, but they still feel a bit flimsy in the Phantom Blaster. Okay. I mean, I understand what he's trying to say. Like, realistically, in this position, if a soldier, like, so let's say we go from the start of KOTOR 1. If a soldier just got up and was going to go fight the Sith, realistically, especially as how it's portrayed in Star Wars, you wouldn't pull up with a vibroblade and start slicing up soldiers. You'd probably pull out a blaster. It makes more sense. And blasters should be more powerful than a sword, you know, because they fire lasers. You know, so it does. I understand where they're coming from. I do understand where they're coming from, and obviously he did acknowledge the fact that vibroblades are canon. You know, vibro swords, vibroblades are canon. So, I mean, I guess it doesn't make sense, I guess. Like, obviously, I do understand what you're saying. It's more so just a stand for characters that do obviously want to become a Jedi later on, which that's what you would aim for, you'd think you'd aim for. And obviously it's a stand-in for those that want to play a strength build, because obviously at the start of this game, for people who have never played the game before and never seen any media, you might not even know you could be a Jedi. So you see a sword and you want to make a whole strength build, you know, just start slicing up people. That might be what you want to do. Even when you are a Jedi, you can decide to not use lightsabers, as far as I'm aware. So your party members are just going to ignore the deformed Sith face. It's great that KOTOR allows you to become a Sith, as this provides the ultimate role-playing experience for a Star Wars game. The slow yet apparent progression somewhat makes the whole party look less than observant. The leader is clearly developing a common signs on their face, complete with creepy eyes and red cracks, yet they turn a blind eye to it. No one comments on it or even asks why this is happening. Now, before we invoke suspension of disbelief again, the kind of dark side change is highly noticeable in canon, particularly in the films. Even Palpatine had to make an excuse for his telltale signs of the Sith transformation. I guess so. I've never actually done a dark side playthrough on KOTOR 1, which is actually quite interesting. I know in KOTOR 2, they pick up on it. Like, your party members will be like, yo, what's happened to your face? Like, in KOTOR 2, they pick up on it. But in KOTOR 1, obviously, I wouldn't be able to say. I'm actually kind of surprised if they don't mention it ever. But then again, KOTOR 1, at the very least, feels a lot more linear. So... But yeah. I guess that's something that doesn't make sense, for real. But maybe it's also a thing of like, you know, halfway through the game you do find out you're Reverend or whatever, and you know, maybe your party members just have the benefit of that as well, because they got too many problems. They got bigger problems than worrying about whether or not you've turned to the dark side or whatever. Because I also think you could do a dark side playthrough while supporting your like, for example, you don't have to go ahead and kill the rest of the Jedi to do a full dark side playthrough, because at least in KOTOR 2 you can legitimately save all the Jedi and be dark side. I think you can do the same in KOTOR 1, but I'm not too sure. I've never done a playthrough like that again, so maybe that might be an interesting thing I do in the future, you feel me? Obviously, if you guys want a KOTOR 1 video essay after my KOTOR 2 one, let me know, because I will be happily willing to go back and play that game. And obviously, I do kind of want to try and see if you could do like an evil light side or a good dark side. I don't think you do. I'd assume you couldn't do a good dark side because you have to kill people. But evil light side does sound interesting. The rat ghouls and the selective virus. Oh, some of the earliest monsters. Yeah, I can't lie. Rat ghouls are just like zombies, bro. I was like, what? But some of the earliest monsters you face in KOTOR are the rat ghouls. According to the lore, rat ghouls spread the virus or poison to whoever they bite or come in contact with, that turn the victims into another rat ghoul. Such a vicarious epidemics exists for the poor inhabitants of the terrorist city. For some reason, your party is immune to debilitating side effects of the rat ghoul attacks. In fact, your characters are even the unremarkably human Carfanassi are more clawed or bitten by rat ghouls, more so than the undercity squatters. No one among the Ebon Hawk crew turned into a rat ghoul. However, it would have been nice to have an all-rat ghoul assault team aboard the AaronNC ship. Yeah, I guess I can say that doesn't make sense, but yeah. Obviously, canonically, they probably just sliced their way through and they didn't get hit once, but obviously in game, you're gonna get hit by a rat ghoul. So, yeah, I guess so. How did Darth Malak not know the Jedi Enclave on Dantooine? Did he not know? Speaking on Darth Malak, he doesn't live up to Reverend's legacy. Upon catching Reverend, he had one of his interrogators immediately question the captive about the whereabouts of Jedi Enclave that would be in Dantooine. Funny thing is, both Reverend and Malak themselves were trained by the same Jedi Enclave in Dantooine. So why is Malak looking for the Jedi Enclave there? He's supposed to know where it is, unless he's developed amnesia like Reverend. Moreover, the Jedi Master, along with Bastila and Dantooine, could have also confidently believed that Malak doesn't know of their existence on the planet. He could have just bombed the whole planet too. To be fair, maybe I'm missing something, but that would be correct, because, and at least the proof that I have, maybe again I might be wrong about this, it was a long time, is that obviously Reverend and Malak found all of the star, is it the star maps? I think it's called the star maps, but they found all the star, maps. So they had to have gone to Dantooine, had to have gone to, and I'm pretty sure they were trained on that, at least maybe semi-trained on Dantooine or whatever. But let me put it like this: they would have known a Jedi Enclave would have been on Dantooine, because they had to have gone to Dantooine for the star map regardless. And I think they even mentioned Reverend and Malak went to look for the star map on Dantooine. So I mean, if this is the case, then yeah, this would be a straight up mistake or plot hole. Like this, I would genuinely agree. Like this would be a plot hole. But I'm trying to think: would there be any reason why he wouldn't have attacked Dantooine? Would there have been any reason why he wouldn't have taken Dantooine? I'm trying to remember the reason why he even did in the first place. I mean, maybe together. No, because Malak already knows what the star for. Yeah, I don't know. maybe this is a full-on plot hole. Again, been a long time since I played this game. Maybe I'm misremembering something, but yeah, that I would at least call that a plot hole if that is the case, and you have to ask and interrogate to find the Jedi Enclave on Dantooine. Okay. The Jedi Enclave's plan hinged on Revan hopefully not relapsing back into a Sith Lord. While on the topic of the Jedi Enclave on Dantooine, you have to wonder what was going on in their heads when they came up with the dramatic grand plan of defeating Darth Malak. Their best idea was to send an amnesiac Sith Lord, whom they rehabilitated, back into the Jedi in order to defeat Malak. Could they have not done that themselves, considering they had the equivalent of Yoda in their ranks? Is his name Master Vandor? I'm pretty sure the Yoda looking guy is Master Vandor. Let me just make sure I'm getting this right. Let me just make sure I get this. Cause he is not the equivalent. He's not the equivalent of Yoda. Let me just make sure I'm getting this completely correct here. Yes, that is Master Vandor. He is not the equivalent of Yoda. I'm sorry to say, he's not the equivalent of Yoda. There is no proof. Bearing in mind, his species is notorious for having high midichlorian counts. So he is probably very powerful, but he is not Master Yoda. We have no confirmation of that. And clearly, if he's trying to send Revan in there, he clearly doesn't believe he is stronger than Revan. Which would imply that Revan has a higher midichlorian count. Because why would you send Revan in when Master Vandor is right there and he's powerful? But another thing with the Jedi as well is that they are, especially in the KOTOR games, are portrayed as apathetic. You know, they don't take action. They would rather sit in their enclave, go on about peace, go on about how it's not the Jedi way, go on about doing right for the galaxy, and then as the galaxy falls around them, they just sit there and just be like, wow, we should consult the Force. So admittedly, maybe that's the reason why they never sent Master Vandor or any of the Jedi Knights there, and they sent Bastila, for example, as well to capture Revan. They sent, you know, they sent all of these other guys, but not themselves, because they're just apathetic. Malak is weaker than Revan. The plan had a 50-50 chance of failing and reinstating an even scarier Sith Lord back into power. It seems the Jedi Council hubris is a constant trait. Gotta have their downfalls every now and again to make room for new Sith Lords. Yeah, I'll admit, their plan was completely stupid. Because when Revan finds out he is Revan, I'm not going to lie to you, any normal person, I mean, not any normal person, but let me put it like this. Anyone that finds out that an order has now taken their memory and lied to them about who they were in order for you to basically assassinate your former apprentice, even though he wanted you dead as well, but I mean, you know, any normal person would understand why Revan would turn on that order. I could completely understand why Revan would turn to the dark side. He didn't, obviously, but I would completely understand why. Like, this order, who's meant to be, you know, the pinnacle of good in the galaxy, they've just taken my memory, stolen me essentially, and then made me fight for them as an amnesiac Sith Lord essentially. And they're just hoping and praying that I don't find out that I'm actually Revan, I'm actually their arch nemesis, and that I could just kill them all if I wanted to. Obviously, Revan in canon, or at least in Legends, well, it's in Legends, in Legends canon, I guess, Revan did not, as far as I'm aware, intentionally, like, I'm not talking about Knights of the Old Republic canon, I'm talking about the Old Republic canon in general. In Knights of the Old Republic, obviously, the Mandalorian Wars is what turns into the dark side, and then, yeah. But in the Old Republic, as far as I'm aware, what happens is that Revan and Malak, they find the true Sith. as far as I'm aware. It's something like that. They find the truth. They find Vitiate. Vitiate indoctrinates them, turns to the dark side, sends them back into the galaxy as Darth Revan and Darth Malak. As far as I'm aware. Again, Star Wars lore gets complicated, so you know that's why I always say as far as I'm aware, it doesn't get complicated. So in the Old Republic canon, that's what happens. Obviously, in Knights of the Old Republic, it obviously they're all the same canon, but if we're gonna separate the two games from the MMO, then obviously the Mandalorian Wars is what caused Revan to turn to the dark side, and it's also portrayed that Revan did not turn to the dark side because he fell. It was more so necessary, and we've learned this from Kreia as well. It's more so because out of a necessity. Out of a necessity, because he realized that the Republic needed warriors. You know, he realized the Republic was weak. So what he did after settling the Mandalorian Wars, he then turned to the dark side so he could fight the Republic, get them stronger, and then he left again to find the true Sith. So obviously when the Republic rebuilds, he was hoping that they would rebuild a lot stronger, knowing that a Darth Revan could be around the corner, you know. But, you know, this was a pretty decent list, actually, Obviously, again, it's been a long time since I played these games, so I might have gotten something wrong, but I doubt I did. Again, good job, Sid Nativid. That I can't say as well, so sorry about that. But yeah, this was a good list, a good article, you know. And yeah, I guess I'll end the video off here. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you like my commentary and are new to the channel, please leave a like. And also subscribe because that very much helped me out. And stay tuned for my video essay that should, and I'm sorry for my black people timing, but it should be coming out the Wednesday coming up, okay? So again, thank you very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.